Good evening, everyone. My name is Monim Benaissa. I am a PhD in international law candidate. In the context of these international events that mark the situation in the world, emergence of new powers, economic powers, the, the strikes from Latin America through Arab world to Hong Kong, one can ask what are going to be the international relations in the next months or next years. So it could be a researcher, it could be a politician. So tonight we are going to talk about the three most prominent theories: realism, liberalism, and constructivism. So in general, international relations theories are abstract simplification of more complex empirical realities, because it is precisely because they simplify the reality that they are useful to a researcher, a PhD student, a master student. So to give you just a paradox, so if you are in this room and you invite different person to give you his or her vision about this piece. So if you invite first a designer, is gonna give you some comments about like the furniture. If you invite an expert on the construction, is gonna give you an advice about the building system. So they will have different ideas. It's the same for the international relations analysts of the theories. So let's start to explain one by one. So first of all, the November 2019 marks the 30-year anniversary of a big event, which is the collapse of Berlin Wall. We are going to talk about this in terms of explanation of one of these theories. So let's begin with the most dominant theory of AR before and during the Cold War, which is realism. Realism is a theory about power and security. So states, they seeking security to protect their interests. They seeking security, it means they seeking a prestige. They want to protect their interests. So for the realists, the main actor are the states. The states, they have to go through different challenges. It could be in terms of intervention, in terms of cooperation, in terms of competition. So the states, they have to make sure they will be in terms of security independent. Under this theory, we cannot trust or believe in any other actor or any other ally, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So we have to get ready for any such event. We don't know who's going to be against you tomorrow. So this explain why during last decades we have all these interventions, this involvement of superpowers from USSR and the United States in different continents. It's because they are running behind the protection of their power, their interests, and to protect their prestige. So we don't believe in that kind of central state or to call 911 to solve the problem. So we have to get rid as much as power, as much as you have as a power, as much you get you get strong. So the realism is about the protection of kind of domination in the international relations. That's why it gives us a lot of shocking situation between different states. Let's say the powerful states, they find themselves intervening in the domestic affairs of other states because they are seeing their interests are threatened. Most of these interventions during the Cold War or even after the collapse of USSR have been done in the name of the promotion of democracy and protection of human rights. So these superpowers, they intervene to criticize these states or these regimes to tell them that you are not democratic enough. You don't respect human rights. So this is what brings them to get ready for any kind of situation to intervene in terms of military or in terms of embargo or in terms of cutting aids, etc. So this brings us to talk about the other theory when we just mentioned the cooperation and which is the same theory, which is the new liberalism or liberalism. In the opposite of realism, new liberalism believe in this diversity of actors. States are main actors, but they are not the only actors. We have different actors. They can affect international relations. It could be state, it could be NGO, could be companies, could be a social movement, environment movement. We cannot say that only states are behind the ratification or signature of COP 22 or the protocol or Kyoto protocols or protection of refugees or immigrants. There is different actors. They play a role behind that. If you want to understand exactly the role of these actors, you can look at, for example, United Nations, European Union. So in terms of policy, the liberalism believe in this diversity of cooperation between all these actors. So under the neoliberalism, you have different kind of opportunities. It could be a cooperation, it could be a competition. Also, in terms of solving problems, there will be a big percentage of a peaceful resolution of a problem. So if we respect international law, because we believe in liberalism, we believe in diversity of opinions, we can achieve a lot of progress. Let's come back to the achievement of the European Union. So the European Union, achieved a lot of progress in terms of human rights, in terms of economic prosperity, policy, immigration, investment, because they taken opportunities. So in a regular social life, like you take any neighborhood, so you can choose to be like a cooperative neighbor, or you can choose to be isolated, to do not get involved. So you can have opportunities to talk with other partners to solve certain problems, or you can maybe to just stay keeping your ideas. You don't share any beliefs, or you don't share any values. So this is the opposite of neorealism, which doesn't believe in this diversity of. So let's bring us to talk about the third theory, which is constructivism. So it's like you have this computer program, and if you break one of the rules or softwares, you will be in front of kind of anarchy. So the new realists, they're doing this. So they are breaking the rules, which the international relations are based on. But it's not easy for everyone to do it. It's only the main actors, like the president of the US or another superpower. They can break the rules. Not everyone. So this is for constructivists what's happened every time. So we are breaking the rules, the way we are related to each other, which is like in a constructive way. We are socially constructed to each other. In the opposite of the new realist, anarchy is something constructed. It's not given. What gives this credibility, or this capacity to analyze international relations for the constructivists, is because we're faced with this lack of materialist, positivist, or critical international relations theories to explain certain international events, such, for example, as the end of Cold War, as I mentioned in the beginning, the collapse of the Berlin Wall, dismemberment states entities, civil wars, the process of denuclearization between United States and North Korea. So in this context, the constructivism emerged as an alternative theory to explain all these events. When the USSR decided to stop the Cold War, because the USSR see that there is no interest to continue this Cold War, change of entities, change of position. So on that time, 1991, the materialist theories, positivist theories, they get in crisis to explain this phenomenon of the decision of USSR to no more guarding the war between the East and the West, and to continue this Cold War. This is exactly what's happening now. When we just keep going to threatening, like North Korea, by the like kind of dramatic war. Then later on, we decided to accept a negotiation, a process of negotiation, in the goal to achieve a denuclearization. This is kind of change of position because we change the interest. There is no more interest to continue this kind of Cold War, but we think differently. So under the new realist, we cannot explain this. So constructivists explain this under this concepts of the interest and structure. We have a new structure. We try to solve a problem differently. So the constructivists explain international relations not on term of materials, but in terms of ideas. We need to have certain ideas first to build these international relations. So under the constructivism, there is three forms of structure that characterizes the analysis of international relations. You have materialist. You have the materialist structure that interests and new realists. Then you have the institution structure, which embrace the new liberals. And finally, you have ideal structure that fascinate the constructivist. So, under the constructivist theory, we have three forms of anarchy. You have the Hobbesian anarchy, Lockean anarchy, and Kantian anarchy. If you look at what happened, like during the Cold War, this is explains the Hobbesian anarchy between states. The states they see each other as enemies, East and the West. Then you have the Lockean anarchy, under which state they see each other as rivals. And you have the third one, Kantian, which is based in terms of cooperation, so state they can see each other as allies, so they can cooperate between each other. So under the constructivist theory, the states, first of all, they having certain values, they having certain principles to share between each other. So before they get to any kind of a decision, it could be a military decision, diplomatic decision, political or whatever. They first have certain ideas. So the question is how much value they share between each other. You cannot establish any international relations if you don't have certain ideas, if you don't build a structure. So the constructivists they asking more questions about the meaning of international relations, not only to go through the look behind the interest, but what does mean first interest? How much value you can share between each other to achieve the peace. So this brings us to the end of this presentation. I would like to thank you very much for following this explanation of international relations theory under the current events. Thank you very much.